Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
And welcome to another edition of Connecting the Dots. We are brought to you by the Snarful Solutions Group.
Yep.
It is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. And we're coming to you live from Sacramento, California.
We are. And I got to say, it is a really beautiful start to the week here on the West Coast.
It really is.
But before we get too smug about our sunshine, we probably need to address the elephant in the room. Or, well, the blizzard on the map, I guess.
Right. Yeah. If you're tuning in from the Mid-Atlantic or the Northeast right now, you definitely know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The national weather map just looks incredibly intense today. There's this major winter storm that's just hammering that entire region.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing all these reports of heavy snow, possible blizzard conditions, and even some coastal flooding.
It sounds pretty rough out there.
Yeah, it's definitely a stay inside and drink cocoa kind of day if you can manage it.
For sure. I mean, the National Weather Service is literally warning people about those blizzard conditions along the northeastern seaboard. So if you have travel plans or a commute in that corridor today, please be extremely careful.
Absolutely.
The roads are looking pretty much impossible in some of those spots.
They are. And meanwhile, the Pacific Northwest and our neighbors up in north central California, they're getting another round of that wet, windy weather too.
Right. But here in Sacramento.
Here in Sacramento, we are looking at a high of 67 degrees and partly sunny skies.
It almost feels a little unfair.
A little guilty to say it out loud.
It does. But, we'll take the vitamin D where we can get it.
We certainly will. So let's get a really quick snapshot of the financial world before we jump into the main topics today.
Let's do it.
It was a pretty solid end to the week last Friday, February 20th. The markets seemed to kind of shake off some of those mid-month jitters. The Dow Jones closed up about 0.61%, sitting at 49,625.97.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
And the S&P 500 actually had an even stronger showing. It closed just a hair under 1% up, finishing Friday at 6,909.51.
Right.
It's interesting to see that resilience, especially with some of the volatility we've been tracking.
Yeah, exactly. But if we look at this morning, crypto is taking a bit of a breather. Bitcoin is trading Monday morning around 66,088.21.
Okay.
Which is down about 2.26% from where we were. Seems like just a little bit of profit taking to start the week.
Yeah, a little cooling off is healthy. But speaking of things that definitely should not cool off, let's talk about how we are actually powering through this Monday morning.
Oh, definitely.
Because, I absolutely cannot function without a serious caffeine kick.
I am right there with you on that. And that is exactly why we are powered by Strong Coffee.
Yes, we are.
If you haven't tried this stuff yet, you really need to listen up. Strong Coffee is a premium instant coffee, but you have to just completely erase the memory of that terrible instant stuff your grandparents used to drink.
Oh, this is completely different.
It really.
It tastes exactly like a fresh traditional brew, but it's engineered for performance. It's packed with 15 grams of protein and MCTs, which you need for firing up your brain first thing in the morning.
And the absolute secret weapon in this is the adaptogens, specifically the ashwagandha.
The ashwagandha is a total game changer. It balances out that caffeine spike, so you get this really clean, sustained energy.
Right.
So there's no jitters, no anxiety, and most importantly, no terrible crash into in the afternoon.
Exactly. It's basically this functional latte that's ready in seconds. And because we want all of you operating at peak efficiency today, you can get 20% off your entire purchase.
Such a good deal.
All you have to do is go to strongcoffeecompany.com and use the promo code SNARFLE.
That's strongcoffeecompany.com, promo code SNARFLE. It is genuinely the best way to start your week.
All right, let's get into the good stuff. It's time to open up the Morning Star, that's our internal Snarful Tech article report, and really connect the dots on today's top 3 stories.
We have a really fascinating lineup today. It kind of feels like the theme connecting everything is redefining efficiency.
I like that.
Yeah, we're looking at everything from the biological energy cost of a single thought all the way to the capital efficiency of running a robotaxi fleet.
Well, let's jump straight into our first story then. This one comes out of the India AI Impact Summit 2026, specifically an event there called the Express ADA.
Right.
And OpenAI CEO Sam Altman was speaking, and he made some comments that are really stirring the pot right now. He decided to push back pretty hard against this whole narrative that AI is some sort of energy villain.
Yeah, and this is a debate that has been raging for years now. We all know data centers consume massive amounts of electricity. But Altman is trying to completely reframe the comparison here.
How so?
Well, he's arguing that comparing the massive energy it takes to train an AI model against a single human thought is fundamentally unfair. He actually called it intellectually dishonest.
Okay, I see where he's going with that. It's sort of the difference between building the entire library and just checking out a single book. You wouldn't count the cost of pouring the concrete for the library every time someone reads one page.
Yeah, it is exactly the distinction he's making. It's the difference between training and inference.
Yeah.
Training is that massive one-time energy expenditure to create the digital brain. Inference is just that tiny amount of energy used when you ask ChatGPT a question and it answers you.
But he actually took it a step further than that, didn't he? He didn't just compare it to a computer process. He compared it to human biology.
He did, and this is where it gets really provocative. He argued that if you want to talk about the training cost of intelligence, you have to look at the training cost of a human being.
Which is wild to think about.
Right. He literally said it takes like 20 years of life and all the food you eat during that time before you get smart.
That is just a staggering way to look at human existence. He's essentially amortizing 20 years of breakfast, lunches, and dinners as the energy bill for human intelligence.
And he didn't even stop there. He went totally cosmic with it. He referenced the widespread evolution of 100 billion people who had to live, learn, and avoid getting eaten by predators just to produce the genetic baseline for a modern human.
Wow.
His whole point is that biological intelligence has this astronomically high sunk cost that we just completely ignore when we criticize the power draw of a data center.
It's a very Silicon Valley engineer way of viewing the world, isn't it? Just boiling human existence down to caloric inputs and outputs. But if we put the philosophical part aside for a second, just look at the math. Is he actually right about the inference part?
Strictly speaking.
Yeah.
In terms of joules per answer, he might be. He claims that if you compare the energy of a single ChatGPT query against the calories a human brain burns to answer that exact same question, AI is likely more efficient.
I guess if you think about it, if I spend an hour staring at a blank screen trying to write an email, snacking on almonds and burning metabolic energy, a 2-second ChatGPT query is objectively less wasteful in that specific moment.
Exactly. And he used this platform to debunk some of the wilder myths out there right now. Like, there was this viral statistic claiming one single query uses as much energy as charging an iPhone 1.5 times.
I saw that one going around.
Yeah, Altman shut that down completely. He said there's no way it's anything close to that.
He also addressed the water usage concerns too, right? Those headlines about AI drinking up all our local reservoirs.
He called those totally fake, at least in the context of modern infrastructure. He explained that those scary numbers, like the stat saying it takes 17 gallons of water per query, those were based on older data centers that used evaporative cooling.
Ah, okay.
And modern centers have largely moved away from that technology entirely. So he's saying the per query efficiency is actually quite good now.
And there is always a but with this stuff, he did admit that the aggregate total is a problem. Even if one query is incredibly efficient, 1 billion queries a day is still a massive amount of power.
Yes, he completely acknowledged that the total load is massive and it's only growing. But his solution isn't to slow down the development of AI.
Right, of course not.
His solution is to speed up energy production. He is calling for a massive acceleration in nuclear, wind, and solar power. He effectively said, the problem isn't the AI. The problem is we aren't building enough clean power plants to support it.
It's a bold stance to take. Basically saying, don't turn off the computer, just build me a bigger reactor.
Pretty much. And he capped the whole thing off with this totally casual prediction that artificial superintelligence is not that far off.
Just threw that in there.
Yep. So the energy demand isn't going down anytime soon. If anything, we are just getting warmed up.
Well, while Sam Altman is out there trying to optimize the energy of thinking, our next story is about a company trying to optimize the business of moving. Let's talk about Uber.
This is a story about a massive strategic pivot. If you've been following the autonomous vehicle space for a while, you probably remember the Uber ATG days.
Oh yeah, the Advanced Technologies Group.
Right. Years ago, Uber was burning billions of dollars trying to build their own self-driving cars from scratch. They had the test tracks, the thousands of engineers, the modified Volvos, the whole 9 yards.
And that turned out to be a total financial disaster for them. They eventually had to sell that entire division off. For a while there, it really looked like Uber was just going to be a bystander in the robotaxi race while Waymo took over.
It did. But now they've launched something called Uber Autonomous Solutions.
And this is such a brilliant move. They realized they shouldn't try to be the manufacturer of the robots. They should just be the operating system for them. They're pivoting to become the mission control for everyone else.
Precisely. They are targeting third-party AV companies. We're talking about players like Wave, WeRide, Nuro, and Wallaby.
Okay.
Now, these companies have fantastic driving software, but they don't have the massive consumer infrastructure that Uber has built up over the last decade.
Right. They don't have the app on everyone's phone.
Exactly. So Uber is offering them fleet management, vehicle financing, and regulatory assistance to get them on the road.
It's basically the Intel Inside strategy, but applied to ride-hailing. But there's one specific feature they're offering in this package that I think is really crucial, and that's the remote assistance.
Oh, this is the absolute key to the whole thing. One of the biggest hurdles for autonomous cars right now is the edge case.
The weird stuff.
Yeah, the weird stuff. The unpredictable construction zone with confusing signage, or a police officer using complex hand signals in an intersection. Those are things the AI still really struggles to interpret safely.
Right.
So Uber is providing this layer where if a robotaxi gets confused, a human agent sitting in a control center can remotely assess the situation and help it out.
Now, we should probably clarify for everyone, this isn't a guy with a steering wheel and a joystick driving the car remotely like a video game, right?
No, not at all.
Because the latency, just the delay in the cellular signal over 5G, would make real-time steering incredibly dangerous.
Exactly. You cannot steer a 2-ton vehicle in real time over a cell network with zero lag. It doesn't work. Instead, this remote assistance is about high-level guidance.
Okay, how does that work?
The car basically stops, assesses the confusing obstacle, and pings the center, asking, should I go left or right around these cones? The human looks at the cameras, clicks go left, and then the car actually executes the physical steering and braking maneuvers itself.
That makes a lot of sense. And Uber providing this specific service at scale significantly lowers the barrier to entry for all these smaller AV startups.
It solves a massive economic problem for them. They don't have to spend millions building their own human command centers to monitor their fleets.
Right. And CEO Darkhosr Shahi is clearly playing the long game here. His quote was, "We want to work with all the software providers. It's a survival play."
Absolutely.
Just look at San Francisco right now. Waymo is already eating significantly into the traditional rideshare market. If Uber doesn't have robots on its network soon, they just become an overpriced legacy human taxi service.
By aggregating all these different autonomous providers, Uber ensures that when you open their app, you get a ride, whether it's a human driver, a Waymo, or a WeRide bot. They honestly do not care who owns the car. They just want to make sure they own the customer relationship.
It's classic platform economics. And just to prove that this isn't merely some theoretical slide deck presentation, we actually have a real-world launch happening right now that utilizes this exact model.
Which leads us perfectly into our third story for today. We are heading over to Dubai.
Yes. This is the Uber Autonomous Solutions strategy in action. Uber and WeRide have officially launched robotaxi passenger rides in Dubai.
And Dubai has always been incredibly aggressive with future tech adoption. So how does this actually look for a user on the ground? Can you just hail a robot to take you to the Burj Khalifa right now?
If you're in the right zones, yes. It's currently available in tourist hotspots, specifically areas like Sukim and Jumeirah.
Okay.
You literally just open your standard Uber app, you select the autonomous option from the vehicle list, and a WeRide vehicle rolls up to the curb.
Now, the word autonomous can mean a lot of different things depending on the company. Is this truly driverless right now? Or is there a safety net built in?
For this initial rollout phase, there is still a vehicle specialist sitting in the front seat.
Gotcha.
They aren't actively touching the wheel or pedals during the ride, but they are there specifically to take over if things go sideways.
Makes sense for a new market.
But the roadmap they've laid out is very aggressive. They are targeting fully driverless service, meaning absolutely no human in the front seat, by early 2026.
Which is incredibly fast. I mean, we're already in early 2026 right now, so they really mean any day now.
Exactly.
And this connects perfectly back to that Uber strategy we were just discussing. Because this fleet in Dubai isn't actually run by Uber, And it isn't run by WeRide either.
Right, it's operated by a local company called Tawasul.
So Telesul owns the physical cars and cleans them. WeRide provides the artificial intelligence to drive them. And Uber provides the network of paying customers.
It's a completely decentralized supply chain for autonomy. And it's highly necessary because Dubai has a massive overarching goal right now. They want 25% of all transportation journeys in the city to be fully autonomous by the year 2030.
That is a quarter of all trips. That's not just a cute pilot program. That is a fundamental shift in city infrastructure.
It is huge. And it proves that this technology is really starting to scale globally. WeRide already has something like 150 autonomous vehicles operating in the Middle East. This isn't just a San Francisco or Phoenix science experiment anymore.
It really circles back to that theme of efficiency we talked about at the top of the show. Uber is making the market more efficient by connecting all these disparate players.
Right.
Dubai is trying to make city transport more efficient by removing human error and driver fatigue. And Sam Altman is trying to make intelligence itself more efficient by moving it from biology to silicon.
And sitting right in the middle of all of this, our very definition of work and value is fundamentally changing. Whether you are a taxi driver navigating traffic or a writer drafting an email, the machines are just getting vastly better at the doing part of the job.
It's definitely a lot to process on a Monday morning.
It is. But before we leave you to ponder the existential dread of being less efficient than a server rack full of GPUs, we want to help you with something a little more fun and practical.
We do.
Yeah.
I want to take a second to talk about our friends at Old Glory.
Yes.
If you have that one friend who is just completely impossible to shop for, maybe they're a huge techie, but they also have this secret love for classic rock or NFL football, this is absolutely your answer.
Old Glory is the ultimate destination for iconic music and sports fan merchandise. I was actually browsing their site the other day, and the depth of their catalog is just wild.
They have everything.
They really do. They have everything from official AC/DC hoodies to incredibly obscure sports team jerseys. And it's all high-quality gear. It's not that cheap knockoff stuff you find at street stalls.
It's the perfect place to find a gift that says, hey, I actually know what you like. And of course, we've got a hookup for our listeners.
Always.
You can visit oldglory.com and use the promo code SNARFLE at checkout to get 15% off your entire purchase.
That's oldglory.com, promo code SNARFLE. Go get yourself or that tricky techie friend of yours something really cool.
So let's quickly recap what we covered in today's Morning Star.
First up, we had Sam Altman challenging the world to rethink energy consumption. He argues that comparing AI training to a single thought is unfair, and we should instead be considering the massive biological training cost of human evolution. And he's pushing heavily for a nuclear, wind, and solar-powered future to support this AI-driven world.
Then we looked at Uber's incredibly smart pivot to Uber Autonomous Solutions. They stopped trying to build the hardware themselves and started selling the infrastructure, things like fleet management, financing, and that crucial remote assistance to enable other AV companies to scale up on their network.
And finally, we saw that exact model go live in Dubai. You can now hail a WeRide Robotaxi via the Uber app in certain tourist zones, which is a major step toward the city's goal of making 25% of all transport autonomous by 2030.
It's a world where the very infrastructure of both intelligence and physical movement is being rewritten right in front of us.
You know, it really leaves you with a lingering thought. If Uber succeeds in becoming the underlying operating system for all cars, and OpenAI succeeds in becoming the operating system for all thought, where does that actually leave us?
That really is the question. Are we going to remain the active users of these systems? Or are we just the biological bootloaders that got the machines running, soon to be viewed as legacy hardware?
That is definitely something to chew on while you finish that cup of strong coffee today.
Indeed it is.
Well, that is it for us today. We hope you have a fantastic and safe start to your week.
We're here to help at Snarfle, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarfle.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.